Good evening. Welcome to our special meeting of Municipal Council for Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. It's 6 p.m. at the town of East Gwillimbury and Council Chambers, 1900 Leslie Street, Sharon. I'll now call the meeting to order for this September 3rd, 2025 special meeting of Council. Mr. Clerk, please ensure the record of the meeting reflects that Councillor Crothers and Councillor Leahy are absent with notice, please. Are there any declarations of interest from members of Council? Seeing none, I'll move along to our item C, our land acknowledgement statement. The town of East Gwillimbury recognizes and acknowledges the lands originally used and occupied by the First Peoples of the Williams Treaty First Nation and other Indigenous peoples. And on behalf of Council, I thank them for sharing this land. We also acknowledge the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation as East Gwillimbury's closest First Nation community and recognize the unique relationship the Chippewas have with the lands and the waters of this territory. They are the water protectors and environmental stewards for these lands, and we join them in these responsibilities. We are at item D in our agenda, but we have no deputations on the agenda for there tonight. I will move to item E, bringing us to item E workshop, and this is a bylaw enforcement branch presentation, revised signed by bylaw council workshop. And General Manager Krupik, will you introduce the presentation, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Today we are here to present to Council our proposed sign bylaw. I have with me today Harinder Singh, Senior Project Manager of Bylaws, as well as Shauna Hall, our Bylaw Licensing Administrator, who will be presenting to Council today. The bylaw is a revision of an older sign bylaw that we've had in the town of East Gwillimbury and provides quite a few changes for Council's consideration. It provides a framework to regulate signage and emphasize safety, aesthetics, and compliance within East Gwillimbury, and introduces permits, exemptions, and zone-specific rules with standards for electronic and third-party signs as well. All this is ultimately to aim to balance business needs with public safety and community character. And with that, I will pass it along now to Harinder Singh. Thank you.
Thank you,
Jack.
Welcome. Good to have you with us this evening.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Jack, once again for that introduction. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of Council, senior management team, and members of the public. Thank you again for allowing this opportunity to provide you in presenting the revised sign bylaw workshop. Today, Shauna Hall, Bylaw Licensing Administrator, and myself, Senior Bylaw Project Manager with the Bylaw Branch, will walk you through the revised sign bylaw, its objectives, key changes, and a implementation strategy. Before we begin, I would like to note that there is a minor correction on slide 7. The brightness level for electronic signs was previously shown as 500 nits in error. This has been updated to 300 nits in accordance with the revised bylaw. So with that, I will pass it to Shauna to walk you through the first bit of the presentation slides.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harinder. So workshop objectives. So our goal today is to provide a clear overview of why this bylaw update is necessary, what changes have been introduced, how the community responded, and what steps we need to take to move forward. Next slide, please. Some background and context. The current bylaw is over 25 years old, and it lacks reflection of current technologies and growth patterns. Our current bylaw has had minor changes over the years, but a full review has not been conducted since 1999. An electronic billboard sign deputation was brought forward last year in 2024, and this initiated a full review of our sign bylaw. Next slide, please. Legislative authority. So our authority to pass this bylaw comes from the Municipal Act. This act grants us broad powers to regulate signs, protect safety, aesthetics, and support public interest. Next slide, please. The goals of the revised bylaw. The revised bylaw focuses on balance, embracing innovation, while protecting what makes East Gwillimbury distinct. It will also enhance our enforcement capacity, and we will align with our zoning bylaw and planning department goals in the future. Next slide, please. Some key updates. The revised bylaw introduces a formal system for third-party advertising, which allows companies to display ads for off-site services and businesses. Third-party advertisement requires an annual permit. This ensures integrity and prevents unauthorized promotion. Third-party signage would be strictly prohibited in residential, institutional, Oak Ridges Moraine, environmentally protected, open space, mixed use, and village core areas. Finally, this would strengthen our enforcement tools, which may include removal of the signs and penalties to companies and people that put them when not permitted. For the rest of the presentation, I will now hand it back over to Harinder Singh to go into more details of the bylaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Shauna. To get a little bit more in depth, for electronic signs, one of the most significant changes is the controlled integration of electronic signs, which were previously prohibited under bylaw 99-44. These are now permitted in commercial, employment, and select rural zones. They are prohibited in residential, environmental protection, and village core areas as identified in the revised bylaw. The brightness of electronic signs must not exceed 5,000 nits during the day and 300 nits during the night. Furthermore, signs must use ambient lighting sensors. Furthermore, to prevent distraction or visual clutter, content must be static for at least 10 seconds with no rapid transitions or animation. All electric signs must be shut off at 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. if visible from within a habitable living space, and must automatically power down in case of malfunction. Lastly, there is a 100-meter setback from sensitive uses such as homes or schools is mandatory to protect residents and vulnerable areas from light pollution. Next slide, please. Expanded sign types. We've added clarity by defining more sign types such as A-frame, banner, awning, window, feather banner, inflatable, canopy, readograph, and public information signs. This reduces ambiguity and strengthens our ability to interpret and enforce provisions consistently. Next slide, please. Third-party advertising rules. Shauna did go over some of these rules, but a little bit more in depth. The revised bylaw introduces a formal system for third-party advertising, which allows companies to display ads for off-site services or businesses. Third-party advertisement requires a permit. The permit will be valid for 1 year. The permit third-party signage is prohibited in residential, institutional, Oak Ridges Moraine, environmental, open space, and mixed use, including village core areas. Lastly, the sign itself, where third-party is being displayed, advertised, must meet safety and design criteria through the permit application process. Next slide, please. Village core area regulations. 4 village core areas have been mapped in collaboration with planning and are outlined in Schedules A through D of the draft bylaw. These areas reflect East Gwillimbury's cultural and architectural identity, such as Holland Landing, Sharon, Mount Albert, and Queensville downtown core areas. To maintain their visual character, the bylaw prohibits electronic or billboard signage in these areas. Signage must also be scaled down, not obscure building features, and align with heritage conservation principles under the Ontario Heritage Act. These measures aim to support walkability, maintain historic character, and improve aesthetic cohesion. Next slide, please. Enforcement and administrative penalties. Enforcement mechanisms have been significantly strengthened to address repeat violations and non-permitted signs. Staff now have the authority to remove signs from public and private lands where violations may occur. Penalties range from $500 to $100,000, with early payment options that reduce fine amounts for first-time offenders to $187.50. This also includes the ability to issue daily fines for continuing offenses. This aligns with the Municipal Act and is consistent with other bylaws used in other municipalities. When and where applicable, the town can recover costs by adding them to the tax roll as well. This is a key deterrent for unauthorized sign installation. In addition, the introduction of the administrative penalty system known as the APS allows for more flexible enforcement. Next slide, please. Business support and flexibility. We recognize the need to support businesses. These changes offer them more tools to promote themselves while still maintaining community standards. While the bylaw enforces higher visual standards, it also supports local business visibility and marketing. One key improvement is the one-year third-party ad permit, giving sign companies a visible and reliable framework for planning and renewal. Properties with multiple frontages, such as corner lots, may now display more signs without added burden, improving visibility and fair exposure. A-frame signs are allowed within 1 kilometer of development sites, but only on weekends, balancing temporary promotion and clutter reduction. Mobile signs are permitted in specific zones with updated design and setback rules. These measures reflect a thoughtful blend of economic opportunity and community character, ensuring both heritage and business needs are met. Next slide, please. Public consultation. Public feedback on the revised sign bylaw was collected through a coordinated outreach campaign led by the town's communication team. This campaign leveraged various communication channels, including social media, facility, televisions, mobile signs, the town's website, e-news, and external platforms such as York Region, Newmarket Today, and Experience EG. The results were clear: regulate electronic signs, maintain strong aesthetics, and simplify the process. Their feedback helped shape the final draft. Next slide, please. Comparative municipal review. To ensure East Gwillimbury's sign bylaw is modern and competitive, we benchmarked other municipalities, including Vaughan, Markham, Oakville, Mississauga, Newmarket, and Pickering, to name a few. Our framework aligns with emerging best practices in limiting sign proliferation, integrating digital technology responsibly, preserving character in historic or mixed-use areas, and leveraging modern enforcement tools like the administrative penalty system. What sets East Gwillimbury apart is our tailored zoning approach and sensitivity to rural, heritage, and small-town contexts. The end result is a bylaw that is comprehensive, forward-thinking, and enforceable, with appropriate flexibility for evolving community and business needs. Next slide, please. The implementation plan. The implementation strategy is straightforward. It will include bylaw amendments once we receive approvals and an enactment of the revised bylaw, staff training, updating of related documents such as permit and minor variance applications, updating of the webpage, and public communications to ensure everyone understands their roles and responsibilities. Next slides, please. Recommendations for council. Reappeal the current sign bylaw 99-44. Enact the revised sign bylaw. Approve the updated fees. And lastly, approve the administrative penalty system and appeals bylaw amendments as related to the revised sign bylaw. Next slide, please. This concludes the workshop. Thank you for taking the time to listen to our presentation. I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Thank you very much. Are there questions? Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and through you to our presenter. Thanks for the presentation and all the hard work that you've done on this. I know it took a lot of effort getting your arms around all the changes, so it's appreciated. Just curious, on the consultation you did we run this by the Central York Chamber of Commerce for their feedback? They represent, businesses in our community. They might have an opinion. Just curious if you've
Through you,
feedback.
Madam Mayor, to Councillor Crone, no, not directly that I'm aware of. The survey was posted on our webpage. This was circulated to York Region as well, and their direct management and other avenues as appropriate, but no feedback received specifically and directly from that chambers.
Okay. Through you, Madam Mayor, might be of value just to send them a copy and give them a chance to comment. Secondly, my other question, Madam Mayor, there's been some discussion around the illuminated signs and the term of the permit for a year. Now I know, there's the balancing of the vendor that builds and erects the sign against the town needs. And so the owner of the sign may be concerned that 1 year there might be some uncertainty around that. It's a significant investment for an electronic sign, but I can appreciate that we want to have some controls ourselves. Is there a happy middle ground to make, to maybe we outline, here are the terms in which your permit can be yanked or non-renewed, to give them greater comfort, knowing that if they, stay in the straight and narrow and don't run afoul, they'll be fine. I'm just, I'm always trying to find if there's a happy medium between the two, sides of this. We appreciate any feedback you have on that. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Any comments to councillors' questions?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Crone. Yes, we've definitely considered, extending the permit duration to 5 years or even 3 years. However, at this point, with a municipal comparative and what other municipalities are doing with the evolving trends that they're seeing and the impact and the challenges that municipalities are facing, with a longer period of permit duration, we've gone ahead and gone with the most recent permit duration, which is the 1 year. I do recognize that there is significant capital commitment associated from the electronic billboard companies, and really understand, their desire and predictability and the longer permit terms. But having said that, we continue to recommend at this point the 1 year term, as it provides the town to be in a better situation, addressing any evolving trends and any development-related concerns that might arise in the future.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Just a comment through you, and I wanted to support Councillor Crone's comments regarding that, the 1 year term, or you could look at it as a 12-month term. I think that the way that the policy reads right now, it definitely supports a big business service provider on signage. I don't think, if I can be blunt, that this is geared towards supporting small business, which kind of makes me step back a little bit, because for somebody that is in a smaller business within this this industry, a lot of times what they will do in order to facilitate the funding of the signage, there would be equipment leases or equipment financing. And the reality is that the opportunity to secure against the asset, even though it's depreciating over on that 12-month period, is not going to be something that the financing or lending companies would look favorably to. And I think that we just need to be very clear that, sure, this could be industry practices, but it is supporting big business. And I think in East Gwillimbury, we need to be doing everything that we can to be supporting small business. And I think that, yes, the municipality is evolving and it is changing, but if you look at 12 months versus 36 months, I think the municipality has the foresight to be able to see what future developments would be coming down the pipe on a 24-month sightline versus just simply 12 with the 24 on top of the 12. And so I think we should be supporting small business in East Gwillimbury. I would support what Councillor Crone was suggesting with regard to a 3-year timeline versus 1 year. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councillor Carruthers, please.
Are you referring to me?
I'm sorry.
Okay, because Councillor Carruthers is absent with me.
I'm looking down here and reading it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had 2 questions, but I just wanted to comment on the permit. I guess I'll start my remarks by saying that I opened the report, the initial report, expecting to be vehemently and adamantly against it. And for me, the idea of electronic signage and those sorts of, lit up billboards and so on did not jive with my vision for our rural heritage and unique culture and our built form. But what I will say is I was pleasantly surprised. And for me, I felt that it struck a really great compromise between protecting our village cores and protecting what was special to our community, and yet allowing in the right place and at the right time that signage to support the businesses that wanted to advertise. I had envisioned turning our community into, Times Square or Dundas Square and things like that, and that was an extreme, but I was worried about that. And even some of the electronic signs that are in neighboring municipalities, I find them somewhat offensive. So I was pleased to see that, from my perspective, that this struck a really good balance. And I wanted to thank you for that work, because it was obvious to me that you had done your homework, and that you had taken, as Mayor Haxon likes to say, you looked, how do you put it? You say something along the lines of, you looked at where others have been and where we're going to go. And that's not exactly how you put it, but that's the spirit of the comment, and that is, you look at what other people have done, what mistakes they've learned from, and you've incorporated them into a bylaw that reflects current municipal best practices. So for me, given that, and given how obvious that work was to me, I don't see a need to amend it at this time. Obviously, this is a new initiative, and I would be willing to have you report back to us once we have this up and running, and you're processing permits. And it may be that a 1-year period is too short, because you're just finishing your cycle of reviewing those permits, and you're back at it again. And so maybe you will come back to us and say that you'd like to extend that. But at this time, I'm going to take your suggestion. I've seen emails from you justifying why you've made the 1-year suggestion, and so I'm going to support that from where I'm sitting. My 2 questions, if I may, Madam Mayor. One was, I was delighted to see some framework around developer signs, because often when the market is good, We see developer signs in sales offices. It's every corner, every weekend, and it can be quite distracting if you're trying to move through those busy intersections. I wanted to make sure that what we've put in here for our sign bylaw aligns with the regional sign bylaw as well, because those intersections are usually regional roads, and some of those signs have regional permits on them. So I just wanted to make sure that both of those bylaws are in alignment, is my first question.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Roy DeClemente. Yes, the two bylaws do align. There was communication with York Region staff and myself to make sure that, you know, the bylaw is transparent, enforceable on both ends.
Great, thank you. Madam Mayor, I had one further question, if I may. Thank you. I didn't see it addressed in the presentation for this evening, but when I've noticed over time where we've had permits pulled for town facilities or parks, there's event signage that comes up. Do we have rules for how many and where those signs can go? Because I know in many cases, we try to maintain our municipal facilities to be neutral spaces and non-political spaces. And so when someone is running an event, what are the rules around those sorts of, I guess they're temporary signs?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Roy DeClemente, thank you for that question. Yes, they are classified as temporary signs. The draft sign bylaw does address temporary signs for festivals and community events.
Okay.
On private property, excluding town facilities and parks, one sign per event is allowed for up to 30 days before the event. And provided it meets the size and location standards as well, there's setbacks to sidewalks and roads and things of that nature. And then on the town property, such as facilities and parks, is what you're referring to.
Mm-hmm.
These would require approval from the department responsible. I guess in this case, if a park is being utilized, it would likely be PRC. And you know, otherwise, it would not be permitted on the public lands without town consent.
Okay. So what my suggestion, I guess, would be for us to put some language into our Parks Rec and Culture permitting policies, so that if someone is renting out a town facility or a park structure or picnic benches or what have you, that there's some information given to people for, you know, so that they can stay within the town rules, particularly if they're using town facilities. Would that be appropriate?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Councillor Foster.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I will kind of more of the same with what Councillor Roy DeClemente just said, a lot of it. I'm not big on the electronic signs, but I can certainly see where you're going with this bylaw, so I can certainly live with it. I would love to see something come back to us in time that gives us a bit of an idea of good things and bad things with this bylaw. I'm not sure that it has to come to a council meeting, maybe just an email to all of us to let us know. But again, we know that these bylaws can be changed as we move forward. One of the things that I didn't ask when we had our meeting last week, sometimes I look at these bylaws and I wonder how certain things are relevant. And the one that jumps out at me here is the power down with a malfunction on an electronic sign. And I don't know if it's kind of a technical question, whether you would have the answer or not, but I know that even one of our own signs at one of our facilities, not that long ago, half the sign was working and half the sign wasn't. It was there for quite a while before it was shut down. Is there technology, I mean, maybe Mr. Karmazin can answer this, is there technology that we have that says, hey, this sign is not working right? I'm just wondering how relevant power down with a malfunction is.
Through you, Madam Chair, to Councillor Foster, it would be simply as just turning it off. Like if the sign was, you know, advertising half of the sign and there was a physical malfunction or a malfunction with the advertisement itself, all that we're looking to ensure is some sort of provision that the town has to take back to the sign company and let them know that, the sign is inoperative or malfunctioning in any way, and we have a provision to follow up on that instead of, just a phone call and saying, hey, can you, turn off your sign because it's malfunctioning.
Okay, I took that as an automatic thing that they would have with the sign, that once it malfunctioned, it shuts off on its own, but that's explained well enough. I'm good with that. Thanks.
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, and to Councillor Foster, just to add for a clarification, like with any other investigation and usage of a provision in the bylaw, we would obviously first and foremost educate, communicate, and, have that contact with the sign company.
Are there any other questions, comments? Go ahead, please.
Madam Mayor, just before you potentially end this item, I just wanted to express appreciation to Mr. Singh and the bylaws team. This is a process that he's been working on for a considerable amount of time. He didn't mention it at the beginning, but I wanted to just highlight, not only has he and the team done a lot of research, looked at other municipal best practice, try to modernize our sign bylaw. He's always also brought a draft report before committee, has had outreach specifically not only to the public, but also with all members of council, now the workshop, and then we'll come back with a report in the next couple of cycles. So I wanted to commend him and the team for a very comprehensive dialogue that he's had not only with his team, but with all of you and with the public and with other municipalities about their practices, and I just wanted to express appreciation.
Thank you very much. Could I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Di Clemente. Go ahead. All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you so much for coming out and sharing that with us. Many times you drive by some of these signs that you see and you're never really quite sure what it's all about. We have a few on our bordering municipality, and so we're well aware after 9 o'clock at night that what is really happening. So thank you very much for coming out and sharing with us. Thank you. I'm at item confirming bylaw. Could I have a mover and a seconder? Thank you. All those in favor? And that's carried. And we are now at item E. And I'll whistle right through, and we have an adjournment coming up. Who would like to? Sure. Go ahead. And Councillor Foster? All those in favor? And that's carried. Thank you very much.